and a surprise to no one, I didn't follow through with the plans that I said I was going to do last night. That was horrible grammar, but hopefully you get the point. So I was going to hike back down that little stream from my campsite and visit that taller waterfall. A couple things. A, I miscalculated how quickly the sun would be hitting the top of the canopy. And number two, I stupidly did not set my alarm for an earlier wake-up call. So my alarm didn't go off until 7. And I thought I was still going to be okay until I got out of the truck and looked around me and saw how much the tops of the trees were already being lit with pretty strong sunlight. What I'm doing now is I'm going to do a little bit of scouting, exploration, visit some waterfalls that I didn't go to in 2019 and see what they're all about, using the guidebook to find ones that are relatively close distance, quote unquote. Unfortunately, as the crow flies is very different than as the road flows, so to speak. So even though it might only be like a 20-mile straight line, it's 53 miles to get there, and a little over an hour. So anyways, that's the plan. We'll see how the day goes. Again, it's completely clear blue skies, so not the best for shooting this kind of environment during the middle of the day, unfortunately. And again, I haven't had signal in a day and a half, 2 days, so I haven't had a chance to pull an updated forecast. But last I had looked, it should be clear skies until at least Monday, when I'm going to be starting my way back to Texas. All right, so some updates. I got into some areas with cell phone coverage, so I was able to reconnect with the world a little bit and also check the weather forecast. Frustratingly, I discovered that last night there was a super strong solar event, I guess earlier yesterday, and as a result, the aurora was visible as far south as Arkansas and even parts of Texas, but I had no signal, so I had no way of knowing that. So it may occur again tonight, but of course, what I also discovered is that there is a front or something coming through, which is going to cloud up the sky. I'm already starting to get big puffy clouds in the blue sky as I've been driving to this location I'm at now, and it looks like it's going to thicken up throughout the rest of the day until we get into evening. Now, on the plus side, the forecast for at least the location I was at, which was about half an hour from the campsite, was showing that it may clear out around 3 a.m., which is possibly good timing from an aurora standpoint if it happens again tonight. So now I've got to make the decision: do I get up in the middle of the night or early tomorrow and make a go of it? I think I might. I'll check in again when I get back on the road back towards camp eventually later today and see what the forecast is looking like at that point, and see if I can get an update on the solar forecast. But the good news is, if it pans out, I would have potentially the right viewpoint from the main waterfall that's right by the recreational ground I'm staying at, pointing west-northwest a little bit, I believe, which is about where it would have been last night. Of course, if it happens again tonight, it could be a completely different result and location, but that is the thinking right now. So have to keep an eye on that, like I said, when I get signal. With the puffy clouds passing overhead, it's possible I may get some softer light that'll help me out for midday photography. Of course, it's a bummer from a aurora standpoint if that all plays out, but it might give me some more photographic opportunities. And once I check this out, if I end up photographing it, I'll pick a next spot I've got pinned on my map, and we'll just keep scouting. All right, I made it to my next target, and it is definitely beautiful. Right now, all the big puffy clouds that have been causing some intermittent shadow, or shade, whatever you want to call it, are absent, but giving you an idea, beautiful pool at the base of the waterfall. Pretty good flow with any kind of long exposure. That should look pretty good. So I think I'm going to head up to the truck, grab my camera gear, and see what I can do, and hope that these clouds kind of drift in. I don't need to cut the sunlight completely, but definitely, as you can likely tell, it's pretty harsh back there. So I'm going to have to play around either with multiple exposures, or definitely going to have to keep my fingers crossed that one of these clouds drifts in, at least cuts the light a pretty good amount to create a little bit more balance on the scene. Looks like downstream is pretty nice as well. I don't know how much you can see back there, but another set of nice cascades. A big boulder, looks like it might possibly create a little bit of an archway that the stream is going through. So I'd say this is well worth the drive so far. Even if I don't get a good shot now, I know tomorrow's supposed to be fairly overcast, it looks like. So if nothing else, I can come back here tomorrow and work with this scene a little bit. It is pretty. So let's go grab the gear and see what we can do. Got to make a bit of a scramble back up to the trail. And of course it looks like nothing on camera, but this is the scramble I gotta make to get back up top to the trail. Fortunately, the trail itself is pretty easy and pretty well defined, so I just gotta get up here, watching my step for loose mud and rocks so I don't bite it and knock out some teeth. So I shouldn't really call that a scramble because I am now back at the trail, but giving you an idea. As with everything around here, just absolutely beautiful.
I wasn't able to record any footage about my composition due to the precarious setup of my tripod and due to my inability to talk to the camera when other people are around, and I was never alone at this particular location aside from when I first arrived. The strong sunlight definitely made shooting this fall a challenge, and even though I waited quite a while for clouds to drift in and soften the light, I never quite got what I really wanted. That being said, I'm still fairly happy with what I was able to come away with. For full disclosure, on this first photo, I did end up using the new generative remove tool in Lightroom to replace the base of the waterfall, as it was a large, blown out blob in the shot I ended up editing. I did have a few darker exposures I tried to play with, but they just didn't work out for various reasons. I would rarely consider doing something like that, but at the end of the day, the end result is still an entirely accurate representation of the location and what I experienced.
Well, I wrapped up at that other waterfall and wandered down this way. I'd known about it. I always turn the wrong way. I'd known about it thanks to the guidebook I'm using, which, by the way, is the Tim Ernst, E-R-N-S-T, I believe is the proper spelling, waterfall guide for Arkansas. Great guide. However, it does not give you the best recommendations on when to actually photograph. Just shows you or tells you how to get there and what the falls look like. But anyways, it is a great guide, so don't let me denigrate it there. So anyways, I knew this was here. I didn't really think the flow was going to be enough that it would be of interest. And then there was a nice couple that were sitting on a rock near me while I was shooting up upstream at that first waterfall, and the gentleman wandered down here and found this and showed me a photo on his phone. So I think I got the shots up there, so now I'm down here, and if I can get it in there we go. This is a really, really nice cascade, and right now the light is pretty soft thanks to some clouds, and this is in shadow anyways, so I'm going to cut things off in terms of video here and get set up to get some photographs.
For reasons I can't recall at this point, I didn't record any more footage from this second location, even though I was alone and easily could have walked you through some compositions. In fact, I didn't even record a closing segment for this day's video. I think I was assuming that I would return to the taller waterfall I scouted the day before, but by the time I got back to camp, heavier clouds had moved in and totally killed the light. Maybe I'll get around to shooting it when I'm back, hopefully next spring when I can dedicate more time for a longer visit. Be sure to tune in next week when I manage to create some of my favorite photos from the entire trip. And with that, as always, take care. Thank you, as always, to my Patreon members for the ongoing contributions as I pursue my passion to bring the beauty of the world into your homes through videos like this and more. If you'd like to help support my work, you can do so by becoming a member of my Patreon, purchasing fine art prints via my website, or by making a one-time donation through PayPal. Your support is always greatly appreciated.